Yeah, although prosecutors don't have to show a motive to get a conviction for first-degree murder, juries want to know the motive, especially when they see this clean-cut guy with no criminal background. They want to know why he did it. Now, I think it's coming into focus why he did it. He seemed to be a devotee of serial killers and crime. I mean, he studied under the BTK's autobiographer. I mean, he was so interested in true crime that it looks like he wanted to be the center of his own story.
This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
Hello, Reporter Room investigators. Today, we are going to be digging into the Bryan Kohberger case. We have so much to get into on the Bryan Kohberger case, so let's get started. Today, we're going to dive into the claims of what the defense actually wants Bethany Funke, she's the roommate, to testify on behalf of Bryan Kohberger. Now, to be clear, there are two surviving roommates. One is Bethany Funke, one is Dylan Mortensen. I am using their names because they are all over the media. So Bryan Kohberger's defense team was trying to compel Bethany Funke to testify in the preliminary hearing, which begins on June 26th, and they wanted her to testify on June 28th. This has all been resolved now, and I'm going to share with you why in just a moment. So Bethany Funke has agreed to sit down with the defense team in this case. This is great news for justice. We do want justice to be served, and Bryan is innocent until proven guilty, and hopefully this will give Bethany the comfort that she desires, because I do think she's been working hard to keep a low profile in this case. So Bethany Funke has agreed to interview with the Bryan Kohberger defense team. So that subpoena has now been dropped. So why did Bethany make this deal with Bryan Kohberger's team? According to former FBI agent Jennifer Coffendaffer, she reports that Bethany Funke's interview would be, quote, discoverable under Idaho law, especially if exculpatory. But yes, nonetheless, nothing can be hidden by either side except attorney and accused related documents. Some people are suggesting that there might have been a second person involved in what happened to the Idaho students. There have been a lot of questions as to whether or not Bryan acted alone, and this whole sighting that's been reported by the Daily Mail about a naked man has come up, and a lot of people are throwing around the name of Bryan Kohberger. However, I just want to weigh in and say that multiple law enforcement have stated that it was possible for Bryan Kohberger to have done all of these things alone. And I'm going to talk more about Bryan Kohberger in just a second, so please stay with me. Bryan's defense team believes that Bethany has information that is exculpatory to the defense, and this means that her information will help his case. And I'm going to talk about what Bethany has reportedly witnessed and the truth of this reporting. Does it have credibility? In just a moment, so please stay with me. Everything I'm sharing with you is my opinion. Opinions are not facts, so please don't send any negativity to anyone. Let's be kind to each other. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please subscribe. It's really important to subscribe. It helps Reporter Room grow. So we don't know that much about Bethany and where she was at the time that her roommates were done away with. Authorities initially told us that both Bethany and Dylan were asleep on the ground floor. But as you recall, authorities changed it and then said that Dylan was on the second floor. So we know that Dylan was asleep on the second floor. I am going to share more information about Bryan Kohberger and also my theory about the naked man with you in just a moment, so please stay with me. Some of you are asking when we will learn what Bethany actually shared with Bryan Kohberger's defense team, and I'm going to be doing wall-to-wall coverage on this case, so I will bring it to you as soon as I have it. Now, I'm going to talk about the Daily Mirror. Now, this is not the most reputable source, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. So I'm giving you this information with that caveat. So Bethany reportedly saw, and this is why the defense is so anxious to have her testify, a naked man inside the 1122 King Road house. The article states that investigator Richard Bethany, who is working for Ann Taylor, Mr. Kohberger's lawyer, has subpoenaed Ms. Funke to appear at the accused killer's hearing on June 28th. According to the affidavit, Bethany supposedly saw a naked man running through a rear sliding door. Now, again, Bethany was asleep on the first floor of the home. So did she really come face to face with whoever did this? And the private investigator also wrote in the affidavit, quote, "During the course of my investigation, it became known to me that she," and he's talking about Bethany here, "has information material to the charges against Mr. Kohberger." Now, the defense is claiming that it was Bethany who found the bodies and not Ethan's friends, as reported earlier in this case. Now, Bethany has kept a very low profile through all of this. She has not published a book. She has not accepted money for media appearances. She has not gone on various YouTube channels to state her case. She has kept a very low profile, and in my opinion, she is being very classy. She has worked hard not to do anything that would harm the prosecution's case against who she probably believes did this to her roommates. And I'm sure she's thinking that it is Bryan Kohberger. She's also probably afraid. There have been a lot of questions as to whether or not Bryan acted alone. And this whole sighting that's been reported by this newspaper about a naked man has come up. And a lot of people are throwing around the name of Bryan Kohberger. However, I just want to weigh in and say that multiple law enforcement have stated that it was possible for Bryan Kohberger to have done all of these things alone. And I'm going to talk more about Bryan Kohberger in just a second, so please stay with me. But it seems like Bryan had the wherewithal, had the drive, had the stamina to commit these heinous acts, in spite of the fact that there was a DoorDash delivery. And we don't know if the knife sheath was left intentionally as a calling card. Maybe he had planned for this to be his signature, or if it was left by accident. I'm seeing the name Bryan Kohberger being thrown around a little bit, and people are asking if he was involved in what happened to Ethan, Kaylee, Maddie, and Xana. However, I am urging caution. There is no evidence that Bryan Kohberger was involved in any of this. I did investigate carefully when his name surfaced originally in relation to this case. We know that it came up because Bryan and his dad brought it up during the traffic stop when the trooper pulled over Bryan and his dad for a reported taillight. We know now that they were trying to get body cam footage of Bryan Kohberger's hand. For those of you who don't know, Brent was done away with during a SWAT standoff. He was a U.S. Army veteran. He was awarded the Purple Heart. He reportedly sustained a traumatic brain injury in combat while serving in Afghanistan, and there is no evidence that we know about that ties him to what happened at 1122 King Road House. If this report of Bethany witnessing a naked man running out the back sliding glass doors is correct, as reported by the Daily Mirror, then my theory on this is that it would have been Bryan. He would have taken off his clothes as a criminology student. He would have understood that he would have been transferring DNA from his clothing into his vehicle and possibly taking it home with him. So it is very possible that he stripped off his clothes and maybe he did not realize that there were two roommates still in the house. We don't know what time he arrived at the 1122 King Road house. Allegedly, he is innocent until proven guilty. But I think if anybody was naked running through the house, it would have been him. I will bring you all of the information as soon as we have it. Please subscribe if you haven't already and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a new video.